Hello, Brobs. We're back with new book arrivals, number 254. Hello, Brobs. Um, Look at this stupid slogan on this beer. This pumpkin ale slaps. Pumpkin slappuccino. Obviously, it's a take on cappuccino, but I mean, what a fucking stupid statement. I know that's a new phrase. It slaps, but I mean, it's fucking dumb as hell. It's fucking ignorant. Ignorant. Anyway, we're going to get to these books. And people always ask me, "Do you have a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf?" And I was like, "No, I don't," but now I do. Bought it today for, well, it was supposed to be $1. How many books did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 for $15. What's that? 75 cents a book? Something like that. 75 cents a book. So I picked up a copy of this because, as I said, everyone always asks me, "Do you have a copy of Mein Kampf?" I remember reading it in high school. It was awful. But I will read it again, maybe one day. Just to see what that fucking mustachioed socialist prick said. Actually, looks kind of like a vintage book. I thought it was a newer copy, but I think it's vintage. What you doing? What's up? Why would you buy that skag? He's not. It's not like he's profiting. He's dead. I mean, he's been dead for at least 30 years because I know he supposedly lived in South America. I mean, I buy Neil Gaiman books. What's the difference, Neil Gaiman or Adolf Hitler? Yeah, supposedly he was alive in South America. And listen, I don't doubt it. Let's read a little bit of this and see what he says. I mean, most of it's basically the Democratic Party's mantra today. I mean, he's not much different. Today, it is my conviction that in general, aside from the cases of unusual talent, a man should not engage in public political activity before his 30th year. He should not do so because up to this time, as a rule, he is engaged in molding a general platform. I told you this book sucks. One of the worst symptoms of decay in Germany of the pre war era was the steadily increasing habit of doing things by halves, always a consequence of uncertainty on some matter, and of the cowardice resulting from this and other grounds. Thus, a condition which is fundamentally one of paralysis is replaced. I don't give a fuck about this. Anyway, it's probably worth 10 to 15 bucks regardless, so now I have it. William Faulkner, Sanctuary and Requiem for a Nun, now in one complete volume, two great full-length novels by the Nobel Prize winner. It's not in great shape, but it's a nice vintage copy. And what year was it from? 58. Great year, bruv. I can put this under my nun section. I have a pretty good nun collection going on nowadays. Look at that fucking dullard mustache. Hey, buddy. How are you? I'm William Faulkner. For the first time in one volume, these two great novels by a famous American author about Temple Drake, the reckless Mississippi debutante who expiated a youthful sin by mature confession. Exciting. I'll place that over there. War slang, American fighting words and phrases from the Civil War to the Gulf War. Let me get some of this Slappuccino and see how much it slaps. I had one last year, but I don't remember what it tastes like. It does slap. Slaps my titties. It's pretty good. Hi, I liked it for you. Liked what? Liked the video? Are you 12 or are you old enough to drink? Deep flavors of espresso and pumpkin spice with a creamy, sweet lactose finish. I'll give it to this beer. It does slap. Looks like fucking morbid goo. It's pretty good. You're 11? What the fuck? Why are you up? Where are you from? Please say you're not from, like, I guess in California, if you were 11, it would be okay. You'd be like 9. Be like 9 o'clock there. You're 11 years old and you're watching this rubbish. The Many Words of World War II. Sears and Roebuck, sea lawyer. Sears and Roebuck, lieutenant. A new officer, usually a second lieutenant, was called the Sears and Roebuck. Do your parents know that you're on here? Hissing Jenny, a big shell. You're homeschooled? Holy Joe, a chaplain, any man. Effecting piety, a flivver, a small destroyer. The term is discussed by James B. Connolly in the U-Boat. I have that book. The fuck? I won't swear since you're, 8 years old? I'm from Cali too, but I'm an old fuck. Hey, watch your language. We got a 8-year-old here. I'm drinking beer, swearing, so are you. Kind of fucking. And there's a book on Hitler that I bought today. Or actually, a book by Hitler, because there's always a smartass who comes to one of these readings or one of these whatever this live chat is and asks, "Do you have Hitler?" And now I have Hitler. I can say yes. A Gift of Prophecy, the phenomenal Jean Dixon, or is it Jeannie Dixon? I'm 36. What does an 11-year-old do these days? Do you just play video games and watch YouTube? Yeah, I'm not going to cuss while you're here. When you leave, I'll start going back to normal. A Gift of Prophecy. Anyway, this lady predicted JFK's assassination. I don't know what else she predicted, but I always collect prophecy books. I probably have more books on witchcraft than anything, but I never read them. I just buy them because the subject's interesting. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. I was going to get a couple Dostoevsky's. What was it? War and Peace. That's Tolstoy. There were a couple nice hardcovers, but when I opened them, the fucking spines the effing spine fell out. A lot of responsibilities. You in a cult? You have to feed the pigs. You know, I always hear people ask, who's your favorite Russian writer? And they're always like Gogol or Dostoevsky or Tolstoy. And I'm just like, I like fucking Ayn Rand. Just because she moved to America doesn't mean she wasn't Russian. Anyway, it's a cool cover. The 19th century Russian writer was considered by Andrei Gide, I'm guessing it's Gide, to be the greatest of all novelists, and Freud believed his place in literature second only to Shakespeare's for mastery of the psychological novel and particularly for insight into abnormal states of mind. Let's read a page. Katerina. Oh, look at this shit. The page is miscut. Look at that. They cut off like the top. I wonder if there's any text missing. Yeah, I'm going to guess there's at least one sentence per page missing. Maybe not. That's unfortunate, buddy. Not that I'm ever going to read it, so it doesn't matter. The miracle of language. I would say I have at least 150 books on language and dictionaries. I hardly ever read any of them. But the point isn't to read them, it's to stop other people from reading them. That's called envy. There was a great book written about envy by a author named Helmut Schoeck, Schoeck. And he was like, envy isn't so much that you want what other people want, you just don't want them to have it. And so that's my new theory on buying books. I'll buy like books I hate just so other people can't have them. Egyptian hieroglyphics. Psyche and a Symbol. C.G. Jung. Why aren't C and G pronounced different if Young is J is pronounced Young? Saja. He speaks of the soul as the function of relationship between consciousness and the self and emphasizes the necessity to realize the spiritual experience not only intellectually but also fully through feeling, and finally through the imaginative activity of intuition, without which no realization is complete. What a fucking marble mouth sentence. It means nothing. He thinks that he doesn't think, he thought, didn't think. Shut up. Lady Chatterley's lover, Juvenalia, given the moniker of literature. Then he looked up at her with that awful appeal in his full glowing eyes. She was utterly incapable of resisting it. From her breast flowed the answering immense yearning over him. She must give him anything, anything. He was a curious and very gentle lover, very gentle with the woman, trembling uncontrollably, and yet at the same time detached, aware of every sound outside. I mean, that's literally no different than Danielle Steele. This is fucking rubbish. But I still buy them because they're worth money. What rubbish. D.H. Lawrence. Connie was a good deal alone now, Fewer people came to Ragby. Clifford no longer wanted them. He had turned against even the cronies. He was queer. He preferred the radio, which he had installed at some expense, with a good deal of success at last. He could sometimes get Madrid or Frankfurt, even there in the uneasy Midlands, and he would sit alone for hours listening to the loudspeaker bellowing forth. It amazed and stunned Connie. I mean, listen to that. That's just some fucking elementary rubbish. 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 This book, Marshall McLuhan and Quentin Fiore. The medium is the massage, an inventory of effects, which is basically kind of a meme book from the 60s. Oh, don't look at that. It was nudity. Sorry. Forgot about the nudity. And oh, that's backwards. Backwards masking. What the hell does this say? Compartmentalization of occupations and interesting. I can't read that shit. It's hurting my eyes. Fingernails. That's disgusting, dude. What's up? Are you 5 years old? Are you a toddler? I got 800 toddlers following this channel. What the hell's wrong with this planet? The serious. Anyway, I'm going to sell this book for probably $10, which will have paid for 75% of these books. You see the method I use here. The Serious Mystery. This book also is worth $10 to $15. And if I sell this book, even though it does have a great cover, and this book, which I already have at least 2 copies of, it will pay for all these books, and then I will be book rich for free. Even though I have 7,000 other books. A fascinating experience. How could a primitive African tribe possess a detailed knowledge of astrophysics centuries before the West? How did the Dogon of Mali know that the dog star Sirius was orbited by a white dwarf neighbor, invisible to the naked eye, and only recently discovered? And how did they know to the decimal the orbit of this distant star? In the most exciting new book since Chariots of the Gods, Robert Temple suggests that the Dogon, I assume that's how it's pronounced, or doggone, have preserved knowledge from intelligent visitors from the dog star's solar system and produces evidence that one can only regard with awe. Look at this shit. What is this? Is that Ezra Pound? From front and side views of a bust identified as that of the Greek philosopher. I can't read it. I don't want to break the spine. Book's in pretty good shape, too. Once there was a beautiful bright star named Sothis, as fine as any goddess. She had long held the dominant position in the sky and been admired by all for her beauty. But of late she had felt unwell indeed. It distinctly seemed to her that she felt her life ebbing away. Night by night she fell further from her high, proud place in the sky, closer to the skyline and what must surely be her certain death. Falling, falling, she clung to any companion star she could find, only to discover that they too felt this deathly weakness and were sinking into a kind of sweet sleep. What was she to do? She felt her strength going nightly. She could hardly shine the way she wished. All right. Continue with that. The Strange Tactics of Extremism. Harry and Bonaro Overstreet, authors of What We Must Know About Communism. The Strange Tactics of Extremism, a calm book on a hot subject by the rich or the right authors at the right time. Most useful, balanced, fair minded, and scrupulously documented. A vital report on some of the most serious and, in many respects, pernicious and dangerous developments on the domestic scene. A cornucopia of clues on what the radical right is and what it is up to is crammed into the invaluable book. This invaluable book. It's about the right. Let's see what it says. Ex Libris of Edward L. Ball. What's it say down there? Goo, Dosset, Disset? G, or is it Q? Is that a G or a Q? Kind of looks like a Q, cursive Q, but I don't know. Q, Dosset, Disset. What year is this? I'm going to guess 1956? 64. I was off by 8 years. A reading lesson. One of Sandburg's early poems, they will say, begins thus: of my city, the worst that men will ever say is this. Every so often, in the course of our reading of communist and radical rightist materials, we have borrowed the form of this line to pose a problem to ourselves. Of extremism, the worst that men will ever say is this. Is what? What is the deepest evil that resides in this approach to the human scene? Our tentative answer is that the worst that can be said of extremism is that it pronounces a death sentence upon honest communications. This is the death sentence, which has in our time been antecedent to the well-nigh countless death sentences pronounced upon individual lives. Nothing is more distinctively a mark of the human than is the power to use language both to build bridges of understanding across gaps of separateness and to capture and hold the nuances of personal experience. Shut up. You want to know what really enslaves people is stealing their paycheck every week and then giving it to a bunch of pieces of shit in Washington to spend on stuff they want or don't want, or sending it overseas. That's the greatest evil as far as I'm concerned. The Naked and the Dead by Norman Mailer. Obviously another... No way, that's 1948. It's got to be in the 60s. 19th printing. Just by the look of it, it's, I don't know, maybe 50s. No, there's no way it's 48. I'm going to say it's 63, 62. Just doesn't look like 1948 to me. I don't know though, bro. I don't know. See what we can find the latest copyright. See, it even has zip code, so there's that area code. Oh, that's zip code. So it's got to be the 60s, maybe even 70s. Anyway, I never... What's it about war? The Greatest War Novel. There you go, dummy. Is it about war? And it says the Greatest War Novel. Whoa, come back. Greatest war novel produced in this century. I hate war novels. The Called and the Chosen, A Nun's Life Inside Convent Walls by Monica Baldwin, author of I Leap Over the Wall. Yeah, like I said, I have a collection of books on nuns, which I don't really have much interest in, but found some cool books on nuns, so I started collecting them. Why did he have to allow such a cruel thing as this to happen? I might easily have settled down into a more or less contented sort of nun, if only those two had not pushed their way into my life in the way they did. doesn't seem fair, for I truly believed I was doing the right thing when I entered the convent. Why must it turn out to be the wrong thing now? Where exactly, I wonder, did I begin to go astray? Here is the revealing novel. Oh, it's a novel of a girl who answers the call to a religious vocation, but discovers that she cannot break the one tie that binds her to the world outside convent walls. Don't blaspheme the nun. The True Believer. I have at least 4 or 5 copies of this book, but this edition I only have 1 copy, I think, and it either has like a basementy, moldy, musty smell, or something was wrong with it. Anyway, I want to read this book eventually. Oh, I didn't notice that the corner was chewed off by a fucking gopher. Whatever. Reporting on the True Believer, Mr. Hoffer examines with Machiavellian detachment mass movements from Christianity in its infancy to the national uprisings of our own day. His analysis of the psychology of mass movements is a brilliant and frightening study of the mind of the fanatic, the man whose personal failings lead him to join a cause, any cause, even at peril to his life or yours. You mean like our government? The board. There is perhaps no more reliable indicator. You know what's really angers me about the government is that whatever year when I sign up, I think it's to renew, is it to renew my license? They ask, do you want to be registered to vote? And I put on there clearly no. And they always register me to vote. I mean, is that not a violation of my rights? What's this say? Essays of 3 decades. Goethe and Tolstoy. What year is this? Thomas. Is it Thomas Mann or is it Thomas Mann? I guess it would be Thomas, wouldn't it? Thomas Mann. Die zu Frank. This son of a bitch better be in English. It is. Look at him. Jesus Christ, I never thought he'd look like this. Looks like a barber from Iowa. Thomas Mann. Thomas Mann. That's a bad look, the bow tie. Published June 6, 1947. Translated from the German by H.T. Lowe Porter. In 1812, at least, there was a real war, and its history occupied Tolstoy long before he became the great writer of Russia by dint of it. He treated of it quite in the patriotic key in his school. I was reading a book about Tolstoy. Why did I stop? I think it was because it was November, so I started reading Thanksgiving books. I need to get back to that book, buddy. Anyway, that's what this book is not. And we're back to Eric Hoffer. Before the Sabbath. First edition. I was so busy yesterday that I forgot to write. I spent most of the day with the Hudson Institute people. Eamon Khan is a phenomenon. He can hold an audience for hours while speaking sotto voce. His ideas, though not sensational, hook into the listener's mind. Oh, what was that? Looked like some writing. Failure. Those don't bother me. It was this that bothered me. The marginalia. Get that shit out of my book. Cat's even perplexed by it. He's like, what is this bullshit? What is this bullshit out of that book, Bob? I have a hunch that the Arabs will use their oil balloons or billions. Oil balloons, that'd be great. Did they bomb us, bruv? No, they sent oil balloons and exploded them over space. I have a hunch that the Arabs will use their oil billions not to modernize their countries, but to redress the balance between the Christian West and the Islamic East. They are financing the pressure against the Shut up. The poems of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, complete and unabridged. It's actually a pretty old book. I got for $1 at a different place. Oh, that's right. I did get 2 books at a different place. I didn't actually get these books for 75 cents a piece. I got them for about 68 cents a piece. I think this copyright is in the 1890s, but since it's a, what's this called? Grosset and Dunlap. It's probably 1920s or 30s. I never understood these books that have such small font. Yeah, the last copyright's 1883, but I know that's not right. Yeah, I guess it could be, but I don't think it is. Evangeline, A Tale of Acadie. Acadie? There's some kind of like drawing in there. Drawing. There it is. Oh, lovely. Such an artiste. Offer to purchase voting trust certificates for Treasury, January 20th, 1953. The Arlington Corporation. Just one of many great things you find in a book. Generation. Is it generations or generation? Generation of vipers. A fine dose of calomel for your intellectual liver. What kind of fucking review is that? In this brilliant and powerful book, the author of Finley Wren subjects America and Americans, all habits, customs, beliefs, and methods of behavior to a provocative and uncompromising examination. Only a man who loves and believes in his country deeply could have written this book. From the American matriarchy to the churches, from the Little Red Schoolhouse to the great American Cinderella story, from soap opera to medicine, every facet of our society is held up to the light. The light, bruv. That someone charged 40 cents at one point. Lovely. And the jacket's falling apart. And somebody put the jacket on rather poorly. Lake Huron, also known as Lake Huron in Michigan. Lake Huron. This book's actually worth some money. But since I collect Michigan books, and I have probably 100 or 2 of them, I probably will keep it. Need to get something on this jacket, though, before it gets ruined. Look at that. That's beautiful. What year? 1958. 1944, to my daughter, Mary. William Beaumont. That's a hospital guy, buddy. The surveyors and their charts. Oh, yeah. The American Lake series. Without the dust jacket, it's probably worth about 10. With the dust jacket, 20. Minus that, so about 15 to 20, but I'll take that anytime. Shakespeare's Body. And that means body as in raunchy. A literary and psychological essay and a comprehensive glossary. This is a cigarette ad. Routledge and Kegan Paul Limited. Is this book by Routledge? Rutledge? Yeah, it is. I did not know that. A literary and psychological essay and a comprehensive glossary. What year is this? 58, 55, 56. By Chesney Horwood, scholar and friend. Preface. In the 18th century, this book, or one like it, could have been published in the Victorian period, not up till, say, 1930. It would have been deprecated. Nowadays, it will, as it should, be taken very much as a matter of course. The apparently provocative title is merely a convenient abridgment of sexuality, homosexuality, and bawdiness in the works of William Shakespeare. If Shakespearean criticism had not so largely been in the hands of academics and cranks, a study of Shakespeare's attitude towards sex and his use of the broad jest would probably have appeared at any time since 1918. Pederast and pedants, had been the curse of Shakespearean biography and criticism. The academic critics have, in the main, and for the most of the time, ignored the questions of homosexuality, sex, bawdiness. With one or two notable exceptions, they have been pitiably inadequate. The non-academic critics have done better on the homosexuality, but none of them has dealt fully or even satisfactorily with the normal sexuality and the bawdiness. As I am neither pederast, what? You got to come out and tell people that you're not a pederast, nor pedant. I may be able to throw some light upon a neglected yet very important aspect of Shakespeare's character and art. In order to avoid a too tedious catalog effect in the essay, I've compiled a glossary of such terms as fall within the meaning of the art act. I thought it said art. This glory will, I hope, have a value beyond that of a list, however comprehensive, even value beyond that of the usual conscientious glossary. The verse numbering is that of the Shakespearean Head Edition, which possesses the merit of presenting the plays in their chronological order. So it's basically just a dictionary, which is fine by me, after you have the essay of 50 or 60 pages. I have quite a few books on Shakespeare written by him, and explication, which there's obviously probably thousands of books on Shakespeare. But this one has a nice tone to it. I didn't know it was about the homosexual or even sexuality in itself, but with the word body, you just assume that's what it's going to be about. Anyway, that's all, Brops. Another fine edition of wonderful books. Goodbye, Brops. Goodbye.